Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Good, going good.
Awesome. It's good to see both of your faces. So for everybody listening, my name's Leah Dornfeld. I'm a senior PMM for CloudGenix SDWAN. I'm based in Southern California, and with me today is Yash Bajpayee and Meena Sahar. They're with me today to explain why being a Gen 2 SD-WAN solution or an app-defined SD-WAN solution really does matter. We say it a lot, but so what? Why should our customers care? Yash is a manager of SEs and Meena is a senior TME. So guys, please go ahead and introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I'll go first. My name is Yash Bajpayee. I lead the SE team at Palo Alto Networks. I've been with CloudGenix for 4 years. But before that, for 20 years, I did networking in Juniper, in Cisco. I worked with enterprises, service provider. So I've been doing networking all my professional life.
Hi, this is Meena Sehar. I'm a senior technical marketing engineer at Palo Alto Networks. I'm based out of San Jose, and I used to be with Cisco for a very long time, and I was an SD-WAN TME taking care of the Cisco with Telep solution.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Well, let's get to it, right? We talk a lot about Gen 1 versus Gen 2 SD-WAN, a packet-based routing approach versus our app-defined and flow-based approach. But so what if CloudGenix is Gen 2? Yash, question for you. Why does this architecture matter? Aren't there not several different ways that a customer can essentially get the same business outcome?
So I'm going to start with a bit of a technical answer, and then we can have more elaboration on it. If you ask anybody when it comes to like how would you rate the intelligence of a router versus a stateful device like a load balancer, like a firewall, I'm sure nobody would disagree that router is simple. All they do is route packets. And as you go higher up the OSI stack, as you have load balancers and firewalls, which are stateful, flow-based, session-aware devices, these devices are more intelligent, right? So I'm going to start there and say that CloudGenix SD-WAN is a SD-WAN which is born in the cloud, which is at the very base of it using sessions, using flows to then say, what are you? What's the nature and the characteristics of this application? And then making a routing decision as opposed to a router where all it does is it builds routing protocol. So the intelligence of a routed based SD-WAN, a packet based SD-WAN is in the routing protocols. And it's good. It's not bad, it's good. But what we are saying is why Gen 2 is so much better than good is because now we've taken the intelligence up the stack where we are looking at deep application analytics. What's the SYNAC? What's the round trip time? What's the server response time? Are there any application transactions? Are there any partial application transaction failures? We are looking at all that and then making a choice of what is the best tiering available at that time for that application. So that's what I call smart steering rather than just active load balancing. Meena, you've done other SD-WAN. Surely they are great, right? They get the job done. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, definitely I can touch upon that. So if we look at traditional networking vendors, they've been analyzing their networks based on the same information they've always collected. Layer 3 packet-based metrics like latency, loss, and jitter. While they do make claims that they do path selection based on application performance, in reality, what they tend to do is they build out VPN tunnels to applications and services, assign active and backup paths, and they tend to switch traffic, not based on application performance though, but they tend to use packet-based layer 3 metrics like latency, loss, and jitter. So, I mean, this is really legacy stuff, right? I mean, when we're talking about application experience, why are we even looking into just the layer 3 packet-based metrics? Now, this is where we create a difference being a Gen 2 SD-WAN solution, because we believe that an application SLA cannot be enforced without measuring the individual application performance itself, right? So now for any user, an individual user, They'll quantify the application performance. They measure the application performance based on the overall user experience for that application, not based on latency, loss, and jitter, right? So I'd like to give an analogy here for based on a navigation app. Say, for example, if your navigation app were to give you an estimate of the time taken to reach your destination, merely based on the conditions of the road, like is the road wide enough? Does it have a lot of potholes? Are there many lanes on that road? Merely based on these conditions, would that be acceptable to us? Definitely not, right? We want the app to take more factors into consideration, like for example, am I an 18-wheeler truck or am I a sedan, right? So the very nature of who's traveling on that road is very important, and how that person is doing on the road, what is his relative speed. All of these factors need to be taken into consideration. And if there is some kind of condition on the road, if there's an accident on the road, we want the app to give us a detour, right? So I want to equate this example to the SD-WAN solution itself. We want the SD-WAN solution to make these path selection decisions based on the individual application performance itself. How is that application performing on that network? Which is why us as a Gen 2 solution, we measure individual application performance metrics like application response time, application transaction time, app reachability, and more score for voice. And this is exactly where we leave these traditional Gen 1 solutions in the Jurassic era and we head to the modern times. I rest my case.
Nina, you bring up some really great points, and I love the analogy. You know, at the end of the day, intelligent decisions need to be made on the condition of the users, right? When I think about our current customers or our prospective customers that we're engaged with, one of the things that rings true across the board is that other than their people, their applications are their greatest asset. You know, as they would evolve to address any changes in their workforce, the same approach needs to be taken with their WAN architecture, right, for their applications and end user experience. So, you know, when we think of Gen 2, what comes to mind for me is, you know, how these applications have changed. Yeah, we know they've moved to the cloud, but, you know, how do they look different, feel different, behave differently? Nina, if you wouldn't mind maybe also touching base on, you know, how Gen 1 solutions address those changes versus how we do.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, talking about applications, in the last 20 years, we've seen a tremendous change in the way applications behave and even where they live, right? So applications and services used to live in the data center. And even if traffic was heading to the internet, traffic had to be backhauled all the way to the data center and then head out to the internet. But today, the scenario is totally different. Applications and services do not live in the data center anymore. They're very dynamically positioned. They live in the cloud, and we have the capability to use regular internet as a transit path to get to these applications and services. Now, with Gen 1 solutions, again, the problem here is these are all book-ended solutions because they measure metrics which require a book-ended solution, two devices at both the ends, at the server and the client. Now, with services and applications living in the cloud, it is impossible for these Gen 1 solutions to be able to successfully measure these metrics. So we basically get nothing out of these path selection algorithms run by these Gen 1 solutions. Now, with Gen 2 solutions like us, we are not bookended. We are capable of measuring application response times or transaction times or server response time all the way to an application living, say, for example, in the Salesforce cloud. We are able to get accurate metrics of how our applications are performing, irrespective of where they live in the internet today. Yeah. Anything do you have to add here, Yash?
Yeah, so what I'll say is, look, there are many approaches to SD-WAN. There is the approach of some of them who have this shared gateway model. They build these POPs and gateways in the cloud. They expect you to be bookending your traffic to this magical gateway, and everyone else is sharing that gateway. That's one model. We don't believe that's the best model, but there are those who subscribe to that. Then there is the model where a vendor starts with what they know, right? So if the only tool you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So if you're an incumbent router guy or a routing a solution provider, then you're going to take a routing protocol and modify it. If you are an incumbent WAN optimization player, then you're going to take the WAN optimization and then try to put SD-WAN on top of that. CloudGenix is different because we started with the sole purpose of solving the SD-WAN problem. And so to that end, we've taken the problem from a top-down approach, right? So we started on the OSI layer. I talked about based on where you are at the stack, you're more intelligent. So we started at the application layer, at the user layer, and then we went down at the networking layer. That that nuance, that perspective is why we think architecture matters, why we think our founders were great visionaries in coming up with this solution.
So what I'm hearing is, and Yash, you confirmed this, fundamentally architecture matters. And in order to build a solution with intent, you have to start with a clean sheet design. So question for either of you, how does CloudGenix, being a Gen 2 solution, allow us to continue to innovate? We were already integrating with Palo Alto Networks Prisma Access via our CloudBlades model before the acquisition. Yash, do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, so you talked about CloudBlades. Very quickly, CloudBlades is an app store on CloudGenix. So when customers love the SD-WAN that we provide in CloudGenix SD-WAN, they're like, okay, we want more. How do we integrate this solution, which is CloudGenix, into other solutions? Even before the acquisition, with the power of CloudBlades, the customers were able to install an app for Prisma, an app for, let's say, Microsoft Virtual WAN, app for ServiceNow. And what this enables our customer now is this enables them to integrate the SD-WAN solution with a third-party solution. And Prisma Access, which used to be third-party, we are so happy that we are now part and family of Palo Alto Networks. Now we have even tighter integration plans on the roadmap.
And oh yeah, there's more, Yash. Our CloudGenix App Fabric DevOps ecosystem helps IT administrators automate and optimize deployment, manage and monitor their App Fabric SD-WAN. Our CloudGenix config utility is an extremely versatile script that can be used to push and pull templates into the CloudGenix controller. And what's more, it can be used in conjunction with CI/CD processes like Jenkins for end-to-end automation. So our DevOps ecosystem is us moving away from traditional ways of managing networks to more optimized and streamlined and efficient ways of management. And I've not gotten to my favorite part yet, which is our own C3PO. So with our CloudGenix chatbot app, we can check the status of our App Fabric SD-WAN at any point of time, during any point of time in the day, and all that you have to do is just send a message on a Slack channel. So how many people can exactly say that they are chatting with your CloudGenix controller, right?
Yeah, Shmina, great answers, and I completely agree. Thank you guys so much for the time today. There really is no disputing against being an app-defined or flow-based, solution and taking that approach. And from our perspective, this is what allows us to solve for new customer requirements or challenges, reduce overall WAN costs, provide a simple solution that's easy to manage and easy to deploy. Do you guys feel the same way?
Absolutely.
Pretty much. Yes.
Cool. All right. Well, all I can leave the team with is the opportunity right now is tremendous. There is no better time to jump in the CloudGenix speedboat. So thanks, guys.